Good Monday morning. This is Julie. It is 5:42 a.m. September 25th, and this is the volatility of the VIX. So we've already traveled the daily range. The daily range is 1 and we've gone 95. So we're almost, completed the daily range opportunity. And so we'll see what happens if the ball crushers step in right away and send it back down, or we're already testing that 18. So I would think that we would get a little bit of vol crushers coming back in for the day. um, the new weekly 7 and 9 day is higher, 2028 and 2096, and that 1947 is the 21 day one. So I want to put the 23-day one on here also. That 23-day one is the perfect complement to your 7-9 day. So I can put a PT3 on the chart. There it is. And then load it for daily one, white, right there. And then change my day to 23. I'm going to remove that. Okay, there we go. And so you can see that we're daily 23 is actually acting as support. So we're between the 21 and 23 with the 7-9 above it. 1714 support, and there are some targets. I like to look at the daily, which we've already seen, and the way I set up my charts for the volatility is I like to use measured moves. So if you measure from the middle of the distribution to the 3 and then go out, this needs to come down. There's having trouble getting these charts to cooperate right now, but it's extended out beyond the 3 to the distance, 1 time and 2 time. And you can see we went 1 time and 2 time outside the distribution there. Otherwise, it'll fade on these levels generally. There are weekly levels that are really respected with the volatility. They love the weekly levels as well. So let me put all of these back up. There's a Globex. Another Globex. You can start your Globex both at 1700 and at 215. 215 to 815, 1700 to 830. And here we go. It fills it in, and so you can see that these provide areas that the market trades to. So I would say that since we've had peak volatility, that um, we'll see the vol crushers today. I mean, no doubt about it. That's what they do. So here is your one. We could see that lower one get tagged at 43, 45, 75, and we'll watch to see if that gets bought. S&P, like I said, is going to be looking at that 4210 strike as well. We've already hit that 4300 put any moment. And this could be where the ES gets that bounce on this 4300 SPX. The weekly's at 4284. So you know your dealer's going to have their risk somewhere around here. Right there. There's a 3 and the 1. See those yellow 3s? 4286 and 4284. So that could provide the support for the SPX that I'll be looking at today if it, reaches it, which is probably a pretty good idea. We are below zero and the slope is going down, although in this little counter trend move. So here are the targets for the ES: 4331, 4327, and here's your Globex. We got caught up on this PT3 at the Globex 1. So this PT3 for the Globex, I use the open and the close. So I'll do 1700 to 830 on the open and the close. This is the close, and this is an open, the white line. So get both of the levels hitting out on one location. It's a very strong level. Acted as support. And again, we're just looking at being able to find the areas that the market likes to go to in just about every session. So why does it hit the ones? Well, if you look at the bell curve, it's either going to, go to the middle, the upper, or the downward location inside these distributions 1, 2, 3. So the market spends about 68% of the time in the ones. And that's where you can expect to find it. Most of the time when it leaves the ones, that's when it goes to the outside levels. Here it went there just correctly right there. And if you have the map, you know where you are inside these distributions, and then hopefully can get, a trade off of these, measured moves from these JATS distributions. I can take it into each individual hourly envelope: 6 to 7, 7 to 8, 8 to 9, 9 to 10. So you can see the 1, 2, 3 graduate. We're at 6 points in the early hours, 6 to 7, nothing going on. 7 to 8 picks up 975 points. So you're going to be range expanding a little bit up or down. 8 to 9, you're going to go to 13 points per hour. So each hourly bar has a chance to grow larger during these time frames and or exceed the range. Like that looks like a 5 ATR bar right there that got backfilled, which is very common when those happen. But know what size range you are in on an half hour, hourly, quarterly hour basis, and you can position yourself then, hopefully, ideally, to get inside that range and trade it in many different ways, either on the support resistance level, which is ideal in a range situation where you're, say, inside the weekly ones or the daily ones and you're just ranging inside those ones up and down. Absolutely you want to be trading the support resistance. When you're in a trend, in a big trend condition, like right here, you don't want to really rely on the support resistance only except as easy targets to hit. You don't really want to reverse on them, is what I'm trying to say. This is a trend condition and it can just keep going like it did here. So we went through both the two and the three outside the distribution and kept going. So we can put more tails on at any time, which is great about the JATS PT. So here's the 8:30 to 9:30, and it went past one time on the close. So we can come in and put another distribution up and change it to 8:30 to 9:30 on the close and take this to 1.5 and 2. There we go. So you can add new lines as targets to reach. Eventually got down to the second one. Um, to get moves off of these levels. And then here's the next day's distribution. Um, as targets to trade to. That's why they called profit targets PT. Okay, here's 9:30 to 10:30. And so these are hourly ranges, and you're expecting 1375. And so if we were to look at this range here and measure it, my ruler will work for me. 1625. So the 1375 was reached, profit target reached. And you can measure that from the open. Looks like it went just there on the open, or from the low, or both, the low and the open. And so you would have an idea of where to trade to inside that hourly range. So if you knew if it was going to go 1375 points, right, then you could put together a distribution to show that from the open. So let's put up a chart to look at that. Give me one moment. I think a chart's coming up. Here we go. Okay, hang on one second. It's coming up. All right, here we go. So what we want to do is put a PT3 1375 or PT2 up. So here's a PT2 of 8:30 to 9:30. So PTA2 is red and PTB2 is green, and I am not showing fibs. I'm just showing the target for the first standard deviation off the open. And these are targets to hit. Target hit, look at this right up here. Target hit. So know where the boundaries are and see how it make a target that you can hit easily, right? Here was right off the open, target reached. And the open is, you can carry it from the open and then move it, with each bar going long or short according to your rules. Um, if you were using a super trend system, which I use, frequently. It's a volatility based system. So I can construct envelopes of all envelopes that I want to trade in right there. And that's the envelope that I use for good reason. Do you see that? 5 minute, yes. Loves it. So trade your vol envelope, close below, you know what to do, and you're trading to your targets. So that's a 68%. If you want to add the 95% or the 34%, you can do that too. So you could have a trade target 1, 2, and 3. So let me change this to the 1, 2, 3. Take the tails off. Right there. So here is your 1, 2, 3. And of course, if your 3 breaks, then you're looking either for tails or a higher time frame. So the higher time frame is the daily, right? So let's go back in here and add the daily and the tails. So I'm going to add the tails. Oops. Right there. Add fibs. You can change them to whatever you want. I like 25, 50, 75, and 1. And then we're going to add another distribution and put the daily open and the daily close. There we go. And as you can see, price traded, target reached, target reached. You're trading to target. All right. So that worked out beautifully, and that's pretty much the JATS opening range system in a nutshell. Um, get out of your first hour initial balance, and then you trade to your target. You can do the same thing in Globex for the 1600 to 1700 time period. So I'm going to add Globex, open and close. Load my Globex template. There's the open. And load the Globex template for this. Here's the close. Okay, here, and this will show you that during the Globex session, you can have the same information, targets, the purple lines for the nighttime. And they are great targets to trade to intraday too. And here's another example of a great trade, trading to targets. So it just provides the measured move of the current volatility, and systemizes that for us, over any period that you would like. You can set your own period. This is a standard 14 period. And I choose 14 as a standard period because most of your indicators are based on 14 period. Your ATR, your stochastics, your RSI, CCI, and there's more that are all 14 period based. So stick to what works. You can, change this to a 5 period if you'd like a custom indication to get you somewhere specifically like that 4210 on the SPX. So, hope this helps understand JATs trading to these time frames as they present themselves from the highest time frame to the lowest, going inside, even a 1 minute range and 60 minute um, 1, 2, 3s. So these are 60 minute here, and you can see how well price will stay inside of a 60 minute one. It's really the same thing. Once it leaves the one, that's when you get your breakdown to your 2s and 3s. So you can see this from the smallest 1 minute bar on a 60 minute time frame to the highest, you know, time frames to study. Okay, and that's it for today. Thank you so much. We'll see you Wednesday. Wednesday for training.